Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to our annual English Department Awards Day. This is our 41st English Awards Day, and it's very good to be back in person after spending 2 years trying to do this awards ceremony online. And it's so great to be back in a room in person, and we will actually be handing paper certificates in person to people, and this is a wonderful moment of return for us all, I think. It's a pleasure to gather at the end of a very challenging year of virtual and hybrid learning to celebrate the achievements of our students and our graduate students and our faculty and staff. My name is Jonathan Allison. I'm Chair of the Department of English, and I'd like to thank our department managers, Kristen Pickett and Robin Rahia, for their help. I don't even have to finish the sentence. I just have to say their names, and people applaud spontaneously. That's the way it is. For their help with organizing and planning the awards program and ceremony. And I'd also like to thank Eric Jarvis, the IT staff member of Cornerstone Esports, for organizing the live stream for this meeting. So thank you, Eric. Thank you also to the department's Associate Chair, Janet Eldred, our Director of Graduate Studies, Michael Trask, our Director of Undergraduate Studies, Michelle Sizemore, and the Director of Creative Writing, Frank Walker, for all the work they've done to make this event happen, and for all the work they've done over the last year. So thank you. Thank you to the students for making teaching and learning at this institution such a pleasure and an adventure. And thank you to your families and friends who are with us today, who support you and who want to share and do share in your successes and achievements. So thanks to everyone for coming. We do want to give a big shout out to our donors and friends of the department, whose support is invaluable. The awards being presented today are named for some of those generous donors, and we thank them and their families for providing these resources. Your donor dollars allow us to imagine high-impact practices for our students, including internships and research travel and research time. And in particular this year, we want to thank the following for their gifts to us and for their investment in our department and in education. They are Mary Campbell, John Ciriliano, Tom and Amelia Crutcher, Jonathan Davis, the late Robert Doty, the John Farcy MD Trust, Ruth Fillmore, daughter of the late Paul and Alice Richardson, Jan Eisenhower, Bill Jansen, Jane Carr Johnson, Christopher Green, Jack Nelson, Andrew Palmer, Michael Penman, Jill Rappis, Josh Reed, the Richard D. Rice Family Foundation and Dr. Ashley Reed, Greg and Joan Swanberg. So thanks to all our donors. Please give a round of applause. And I'd also like to thank members of the Arts and Sciences Development staff, Laura Sutton, Deborah Gold, and Teresa Gotthard in the Development Office in Pattison Office Tower for their support and their tireless work in stewardship and development. Thank you. Since our last formal awards day in 2021, we have been joined by several new faculty members that I would like to acknowledge today. Dr. Shauna Morgan, who taught for many years at Howard University and has worked recently for the Centre for Enhancement of Learning and Teaching at UK. She is now an associate professor with tenure in the Department of English, where she specializes in African American and Africana literature and culture and creative writing. Dr. Japnanak Makar was for 3 years an ACLS postdoctoral fellow at the University of Kentucky and will begin as an assistant professor on the tenure track in the fall. She specializes in global Anglophone literature and post-colonial studies. And we also look forward to welcoming Geronimo Sarmiento Cruz, a new colleague who's coming from the University of Chicago in the fall. So we'd like to welcome those new faculty members. Thank you. So I now would like to introduce our guest of honor, our faculty speaker, Professor Damaris Hill, who has just been promoted to full professor in the Department of English. As many of you know, she is author of a wonderful verse memoir, A Bound Woman is a Dangerous Thing, which was nominated for an NAACP Image Award for outstanding work in poetry, and was also an Amazon bestseller. She's also published a recent book of poems, Breath Better Spent, Living Black Girlhood, which has met wide acclaim. The book is a great imaginative tour de force comprised of poems written with immediacy in the living language of ordinary speakers, illustrated with many archival photographs of African American women and girls. Damaris has been doing a lot of readings this year, and we are really pleased that she is able to talk to us today. It's a great honor for us to welcome Damaris Hill. Thank you.
So this is like less of a speech and more of some collective thoughts. If you don't tell your story, somebody else will. This is a quote from Frank X. Walker. Gurney Norman reminds us, to help restore public memory, one of history's greatest, and this was referring to Frank's book on Isaac Murphy. The story has universal significance, but is very much a Kentucky story too, of which all Kentuckians should be proud. And then thinking about something that Crystal Wilkinson said in Water Street, but applying it to your experience here at the University of Kentucky. Every person, has at least two stories to tell. One story that the light of day shines on, the other that lives only in the pitch black of night, the kind of story carried beneath the breastbone, near the heart for safekeeping. Wendell Berry reminds us that telling a story is much like reaching into the granny full of wheat and drawing out a handful. There is always more that can be told. And lastly, I would like to quote something from Nikki Finney before I give you a brief snippet. Watch your life as if it were a film. Absorb everything. What you see, hear, and feel will stamp every alphabet of your work. So as you leave the University of Kentucky and celebrate your time here, I want you to keep these quotes close. I'm going to read something that I wrote when I first kind of came to the University of Kentucky, and it's about my experience trying to get to know the bluegrass and the Appalachian Mountains and this space here. But for many of you, this is the space that also nurtured you. So you know it in a different way. And I think what we're all asking you to do as you enter the workforce and leave this space is to nurture that story. Formed in, I stand in the bluegrass, beyond the rolling foothills of the Appalachian Mountains and the steep slopes of the valley. I'm standing in the dirt that is coddled by the wind. It is thick and glistening wet like anything abandoned. I am open to any possibility of rain. I am not always welcome here. I feel it is impossible to claim anything that rejects your touch, flees your hands, this collection of soil and solar systems populated with spores and cells. Who can own what God has made? Who is confused about purpose and purchase? Is it the ones that stake claim to me, those who believe that star-shining clay could be contained in a contract? What we know that the earth is 71% water, and 96.5% of that is fused with crystal, saline, in its first state. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest swell. It is here that the shores of Africa, the Americas, and Europe flirt and make friendly. This ocean, named for Atlas, is a titan. He was made to hold up the sky. They, the Atlantic and the heavens, have come to mirror one another. But who am I? Was the vision of my name erased in the crosswinds? The sails of the ship could not collect the sounds of the sun. Here, I stand within a stone's throw of Mammoth Cave, some way south of the Ohio River, who runs as fast as anyone I can remember, and I know it. I know the sweat forming on my skin. I am plagued with visions, born with something like a caul that clings moist on my face. I see in the dark and across centuries. I am not othered. I am sort of inside out. A begged hand cannot hold water. Such are the limits of what we call geography. I am aware that maps float right before the colors run and oceans claim them, but I cannot tell you what is owned. I know to unpack my greed every day, like the goods bound with banknotes. Every contract is ink pressed upon a mesh of tree pulp and water. If it is expensive, the paper calls for cotton. This weighs on me. As a writer, I cannot escape some truths. Everything is a living thing that demands space and desires community. I intend to tell you of an origin story, ones with the beginnings that take the shapes of mossy knolls, but the story refuses to land and seeks refuge in the waters. So I begin again here. I know it snows in the ocean, not icy. The ocean is a dense and fluid atmosphere made mostly of life and what is left in it. The snow is not cold. It is sun-kissed leftover of the living and the light. It is held together with something sweet, a mucus I pretend is love. It's always snowing somewhere in the ocean, and it takes weeks to find space on the seafloor. By the time the snow gets there, it has bloomed in the skeletons of Africans anchored in water graves. I stand here erect, prickly as an urchin, next to Daniel Boone. We pine the forest looking for ways to make whiskey. We add borrowed corn. Some forgotten Frenchman names the bastard whiskey bourbon. Daniel Boone is boastful, except when he is at my ear. He wants me to recite a happy story, the kind that begins with low fires and hot kisses. I take the posture of a porcupine. Boone looks at me and scowls bandit. No one here is sure what to make of me. I'm the shade of sand in a shallow ocean. My eyes are the color of tempest. My blood is as warm as the Sargasso Sea. I prick all who touch me. Generations of sand dollars crown in my hair. I stretch my quills in public and walk barefoot across rocks. I swallow water. The Atlantic is filled with yellowfin tuna. They parade the ocean, stretching their canary dorsal and anal fins, fanning their coal-black scales in the face of other creatures. Tuna are warm-blooded like most humans. And likewise, they are hunted by the rich. In Bermuda, the yellowfin are baited with chum, a Scottish word for fish parts, blood and bone, all tossed into the water to lure a yellowfin to nets. So from there, they can be dragged from the oceans and into the ships that will soon dock in the western corners of the world. The tuna will be taken to land and thrown into kitchens. And all of this I cannot forget. My body is at least 60% water. The clay parts of me be more like silt than flesh. And because sand and salt do not deter my wandering, there were iron cages to hold me. This is before they gave me over to the timber of the ship's belly, then set me to drift on the seas. The sails of these ships do not collect the sounds of the sun. I want to tell you a happy story, so I will begin again. Here on the island of Bermuda, in the middle of the Atlantic, we have sand all the colors of the people, pink, yellow, and black. The coral keeps our likeness. It is dimpled with holes the size of eye sockets. It is covered in craters like the moon, but these holes are small and shave flesh from fingers of curious men gaping their knuckles. Who can own land? Anyone who has ever tried to tame the swamps of the dismal knows that land rights be a fluid fiction. Any sign or anything you pitch here will be swallowed in the whale's way, whole. The earth is 71% water and the rest is molten clay. I want to tell you more, and saliva puddles in my mouth. My flesh and bone are cushioned in fluid. My organs are a mesh of mucus and blood. Under my bed, there hides a chest. Wet words and memories, a treasure. It is a sift of spaces I was formed in. I wade all at once in these moments, like a mangrove collecting waves, licking salt at every shore. So formed in is a type of origin story. And even though I talk about having a conflict with the space, this was very much influenced by the writers that are right here and writers that are cultivated here. Most notably, George Ella Lyon, Where I'm From, is very evident in that piece. And also Nikki Finney's work is also very evident in that piece. So I want you to think about, students, as you leave here, what is your origin story? What does the film of your life look like? And where has your experience here, where is your experience here in that detailed of your life experiences? Or where do you detail it? How does it show up? How does it influence you? What is the story that you tell? Do you tell the story of the sun, or do you tell the story of the night, or do you tell both? But when you leave here, your experience will be one that not only nurtures you, but also inspires others. So with that, I'm going to leave you with two more quotes. The first is by Wendell Berry. We have lived our lives by the assumption that what is good for us would be good for the world. We have been wrong. We must change our lives so that it will be possible to live by a contrary assumption that what is good for the world will be good for us. And that requires that we make an effort to know the world and learn what is good for it. I encourage you to do that. And then as you leave this place, there are ones who will miss the University of Kentucky most. They will always belong here, even when they think they no longer do. And that comes from Crystal Wilkinson's Water Street. So thanks.
Thank you very much, Damaris, for that wonderful reading. We now turn to the Alumni of the Year section. Alumni of the Year are people that who have graduated from University of Kentucky Department of English, either as undergraduates or as graduate students, and who have gone on to do extraordinary achievements. And they continue to recognize the Department of English at University of Kentucky as an important part of their story. We have an Alumnus of the Year and an Alumna of the Year. I will introduce the Alumnus of the Year. Unfortunately, he's unable to be here today, but I will describe who he is, and then you can recognize him. And then I will go on and introduce the Alumna of the Year, who is here, and we welcome her and we look forward to her words. Our Alumnus of the Year is Jeff Zerker. Jeff Zerker is currently Secretary and Treasurer of the Calipari Foundation and Executive Director of the Arrington Foundation, a non-profit organization that supports youth groups. Jeff was a 1998 graduate of UK with a double major in English and advertising. He was a regular contributor to the Kentucky Kernel and was nominated by UK for the Rhodes Scholarship. He went on to interview for the Rhodes Scholarship but did not go to the finals. But at the time, that was a significant achievement. Since then, we have had a successful Rhodes Scholar from University of Kentucky, but at that time we had not. A scholar athlete, Jeff was walk-on safety at the University of Kentucky and co-captained and led the Wildcats in tackles in 1998, including a school record 16 solo tackles in a 28-26 loss to Georgia. Jeff was a three-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll. He received the Host Communications Senior Scholar Athlete Award. A member of the SEC Good Works team, he visited children's hospitals and volunteered at the Hope Center Men's Homeless Shelter. Jeff completed a Master's in International Relations at the Patterson School of Diplomacy and a doctorate in education in organizational leadership at Indiana Wesleyan. Today, we name Jeff Zerker the 2021 UK English Alumnus of the Year. So congratulations, Jeff. It is a great pleasure to welcome back to University of Kentucky our Alumna of the Year, a former student and an old friend of our department. Salome Noromelli is currently Interim Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion at Ohio University. Previously, she had been the Associate Dean of Campus Operations at Ohio University. Prior to Ohio University, she spent 23 years at Eastern Kentucky University, where she served in many leadership roles as the Executive Director of Student Affairs, as the founding chair of the African and African American Studies Program, and Director of the English Graduate Program. She was also instrumental in establishing diversity and inclusion initiatives at EKU, including two highly successful programs, the Freshman Academy and Upper Class Academy for Diverse Students, aimed at advancing the recruitment and retention of students from various backgrounds. She attained the rank of full professor at EKU and then again at Ohio University. Salome was a graduate student at UK in the English department in the early 1990s when she worked with former Professor Larry Swingle and completed her PhD in 1995. We are very fortunate that because of Keeneland, Salome and her family are able to visit us with Lexington today. And please join me in congratulating Salome on her extraordinary achievements.
Well, good afternoon. Miracles do happen, right? So when I bought my tickets for Keeneland, I planned to be in Lexington today to go to Keeneland. I had no clue this was going to happen. So it worked out. It really did work out. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. To be quite honest, when I got the email, I thought it was a joke. And I go, what? And I read that again. Then I read it, I go, well, geez, thank you. this is home for me. As I was listening to, so I get your name right, your keynote speaker, Dr. Damaris Hill, talk about places that nurture us. This is one of those places for me. My undergraduate was to the University of Utah. When I finished, I knew I wanted to go on to do my undergraduate education, but I also needed money to do it, right? I needed some form of assistantship to be able to do it. So I applied to several institutions. I got accepted. But UK was the only one that gave me assistantship, and I showed up. so, so here I am, right? When I think about UK, the one thing really that comes to mind is the quote by Maya Angelou, where she says that, she's learned that people will forget what you said and perhaps what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. The English department at UK was always home to me. And I've been back a couple of times when my kids were taking the SAT, PSAT exams, and I would bring them here to Henry Clay to take the exam. It was always the opportunity for me to come back and see what was going on here and to visit old spaces. And it was always enriching for me to see the growth of this place and to be here this afternoon and to see the energy here. It is still doing wonderful things like it did for me, and I'm so happy to be back. I remember the people that made me feel like I mattered. Dr. Joe Bryan Jr., most of you will know him. He was almost retired when I came here. And you have to realize that I grew up in Nigeria, right? As a sheltered, pastor's kid, and decided to be an English major. And Dr. Bryan always looked at me and said, you have the natural talent. I go, well, I know what that means, but thank you. And, I was quiet. People always, you were quiet? What happened to you? But I used to be really quiet, right? I was quiet, and he will always call on me to say something. He valued my voice. He valued what I had to say, and that empowered me. Dr. Club. I remember it was my first or second year of the PhD, and I was struggling. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't know if you ever struggle. But I was struggling. And I remember he wasn't my mentor. I even think I took a class from him. I don't think so. But I happened to be in his office for something. And I asked him, I said, does it ever get better? He said, no. But he looked me right in the eye. He said, yeah, but you find better ways to cope. And I've always remembered that. You're thinking about 20 years ago. I remember that life sometimes doesn't get better, but you do have the resources to make positive things happen for you. Dr. Swingle was always my person. I loved him. He was funny. And by the time I graduated, I picked up some of his sarcastic comments. If you know him very well, he was very sarcastic. And sometimes when I go through my documents, I always get the little snippets he would write to me when I was doing my dissertation. He directed both my master's thesis and my dissertation. And one of them that always stuck in my mind was, I remember, I must have been hungry, I don't know. But I was writing something, and instead of oath, O-A-T-H, I wrote O-A-T. And he returned my paper, and he goes, geez, were you hungry? because that's who he always made me laugh. And The other thing I remember about Dr. Swingle was, I'd have this wonderful idea that I'm so bursting to share. And after that, he goes, "So what?" I'm going, "Really? So what?" And I hated it at the time, But the "so what" question always mattered. Is why is this important? Why is this important to you? So if I couldn't answer the "so what" question, then I shouldn't write about it. I should find something else to write. And for me, yeah, at the time I didn't like it, but it was nurturing because it got me thinking about things that I would not have thought about if he hadn't pushed me. Dr. Shawcross was always kind. And I still remember the last time I saw him. And of course we have, Dr. Allison here. And think about the people that have made difference in you. I'm probably sure he doesn't remember it. So my husband was, when I was doing my doctorate here, Patrick was doing visiting as professorship to the honors program at the time, philosophy and honors. And he finally got a job at Ohio, in a small college in Ohio. Well, he's from Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria. We don't know anything, right? How do you negotiate your salary? How much do you actually pay? And I remember I said, "Oh, gee, you can just hire Dr. Allison, let's ask him." So we scheduled, we asked him, and most people will not take that conversation, but I remember that conversation very vividly. And he explained the whole process, and which I empowered Patrick to be able to move forward in his own career. I remember Dr. Linda Worley. He wasn't part of the English department, but she was my outside person, and they told me she passed away. Was it last year too? Yeah. She was the one. I didn't like what she told me at the time either. Yeah. So I wanted to write my dissertation on Mary Shelley, on the last man or whatever. And I had finished, and I called Dr. Worley, and she looked at it, and the "so what" question. So what? We want to write about this. Why don't you write something that is meaningful and empowering for you? And that's really what led me to do the work that I did for my doctoral dissertation and the work that I do now. When I wrote my dissertation, I looked at the whole concept of race, gender during the 19th century. All I wanted to do at the time was to explore the writings of tribal women from Britain who went to different parts of West Africa during the time. But I quickly realized that you can't do that without looking at politics, economics, race theory, which I realize is no longer is a thing right now, but it has always been a thing. History is a thing, okay? And race history does matter, whether we like it or not, all right? And Dr. Dathan, I don't know if, Dr. Dathan will always invite us to his house. And I will still today I crave the jollof rice that his wife cooked. It was always made with dried fish. I don't know where she got it. She told me I couldn't find it, but it was special. And we will always sit around the kitchen table and eat the jollof rice and discuss things that mattered to us. So what am I saying? We go to school to get education and to get our degrees. But at the end of the day, what really matters is those experiences, the people that we meet, and the difference they make in our lives. So I'm happy to be back here. Some of you are graduating, some of you are staying, some of you are just beginning your career. Always remember that. Always remember that we are all human beings, and how we treat each other matters. And sometimes our experiences may not be good, but we do have a choice to make. We can make a choice to perpetuate trauma and discrimination and racism and belittling other people, but we can make a choice to lift each other up. And I do hope you make that choice. So again, thank you for the invitation. I'm so happy to be back here and to see all of you. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Salome, for lifting us up with your words and with your presence. And this is the award we want to give you, so congratulations. Thank you very much, Salome, for coming today and for your words. We now turn to the student presentation section of the event, and I would like to introduce respectively the Director of Undergraduate Studies, Michelle Sizemore, who will introduce the undergraduate awards, and then she will introduce Hannah Petard, who is representing the Director of Graduate Studies to present the graduate awards, and then she will introduce Frank Walker, the Director of Creative Writing, who will introduce the Creative Writing Awards. So this is Michelle Sizemore. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming today to celebrate our students. And a special thanks again to Robin and Kristen for organizing this event. So the following awards for undergraduate excellence have been endowed in honor of UK English Department faculty or by the generous alumni contributors who give their names to these prizes. The major determining factors are recommendations of the faculty, GPA and qualification for department honors, and the specifications of each award. Awardees are selected by the Undergraduate Studies Committee. We are very proud of these students, and it is my honor to present them to you today. So I would like to invite students to start walking up to the stage as I call the name of the award, okay? So first, the Senior Academic Awards. Dantzler Award for Academic Achievement by a Senior goes to Alex Stoikel. Is Alex with us today? That's a big step. One of her nominators wrote, "Alex is the last of my all-time great undergraduates. When I first saw last semester Alex's writing, I was in awe. Alex is a voracious, self-motivated reader. You can come into the classroom a bit early, and of all the students already there, only Alex will be engrossed in a book, a real physical book. She reminds us that the value of our kind of education is fully worth the effort and the sacrifice. For these things, for such as us, are as the devoted and continual clutch at moral freedom, at the affirmation of all that is best in our humanity." After graduation, Alex plans to take a year off to travel and work before pursuing graduate study in American literature. Her hope is that this will prepare her for a career in academia. Congratulations, Alex. Thanks. And I'm just gonna ask you to stay a little bit longer, and I can give you your second certificates later. We'll not shuffle through all of these. Alex is also the recipient of the Bill Bridges Scholarship for an outstanding first-generation college graduate majoring in English. So, thank you again. I think you can exit, yeah. Next is the O.J. and Ruby Wilson Scholarship for an Outstanding Senior, and this goes to Haley Combs. Haley Combs is a presidential scholarship recipient and a UK Blue Scholar, which means she started law school a year before she graduated. Just to be clear, this is her 4th year in school, and she has just completed her 1st year of law school. Okay? One of her nominators writes, Haley is hardworking, resourceful, both attentive and sensitive to the specific words of texts, a fine writer, and an active and intelligent contributor to classroom conversation. She is a meticulous critical thinker with an ability to break down complex information quickly and carefully, and terrific at thinking on her feet. She was a Chelgren Fellow, winner of the English Speaking Union Fellowship in 2020, and president of Sigma Tau Delta 2021. Her professional aspiration is to become a criminal law prosecutor. Congratulations. Our next award recipient is Deidre White. This award is for the Patricia and William Stacy Endowed Fellowship in Undergraduate English Education. This is from one of her nominators. Deidre is one of my all-time favorite students. She runs her own business. Even with her grueling work schedule, she comes to class prepared every day with thoughts on the books we're reading. And it's not just that she's thought about them. She has incredible insights into the literature. Another thing I love about her is she consistently engages with the other students in the class. She'll remember what someone has said and reference it when offering her own comments. Really, she's like a cheat code in class. I know I can count on her to join a conversation when others aren't, and often encourages fuller class participation. Deidre was accepted into the UK MFA program with a focus on poetry, and she read some poems last night at the showcase that blew us away. After she finishes her master's, she plans to pursue a career in publishing after traveling to Costa Rica with the hope of eventually teaching English and creative writing. Congratulations, Deidre. The next award is the Julster Schrady Post Memorial Scholarship for English majors in the Lewis Honors College. And this award goes to Clayton Dalton. Clayton is a presidential scholarship recipient, graduating summa cum laude. While at UK, he has been involved in the Baptist campus ministry and the UK choir, and has served as a College of Arts and Sciences student ambassador. He has interned for 2 political campaigns, the Kentucky Equal Justice Center, and currently the Office of Legislative and Regulatory Affairs at the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services, where he helps track, review, and critique proposed legislation. After graduation, he will be working as a Public Affairs Associate Producer at Kentucky Educational Television, KET. Congratulations, Clayton. Thank you. The next award recipient couldn't join us today, Hannah Temmerman, but due to a school conflict out of state. Many of you know her, so I'm going to read out her bio very quickly. Hannah graduated summa cum laude last semester and received departmental honors. She is currently attending graduate school at McKendree University to pursue her Master's of Arts in teaching in elementary education and working part-time in childcare while going to school. After graduation, she plans on pursuing a career as an elementary teacher. Next is Jordan Cater. Jordan is the recipient of the Barbara Sutton Cowles Scholarship for an Outstanding Senior. One of her nominators wrote, "Jordan is the best English major I've taught and one of the 2 or 3 best students I've had since starting at UK." Jordan is an English major with a creative writing option and a minor in Spanish, graduating magna cum laude. After graduation, she'll be working as a teaching assistant for high school students and also applying to graduate schools in order to obtain a PhD in English. Congratulations, Jordan. Jordan is also the recipient of another award, the Sigma Tau Delta Meritorious Service Award. This is an award for students who have given outstanding service to the department and or the college and university. During her time at UK, Jordan has been an active member of the English Honor Society, Sigma Tau Delta, and served as president for the last year. She also served as a student ambassador for the College of Arts and Sciences and worked as the head intern of the media and communications team for the English department. She's been an instrumental student leader all 3 years, and yes, she's graduating a year early, right? Third year, but especially her senior year. So thanks again, Jordan. And I'll get you that certificate right after this. Yeah. The Barbara Sutton Cowell Scholarship for an Outstanding Senior also goes to Tanner Eckstein. One of his nominators writes, he excels in all areas: thorough and thoughtful preparation for class, active and astute participation in discussions, intelligent and lucid written analysis of texts, and making connections between the courses listed here and other courses the courses in the English department, and the other courses he takes, particularly in his particularly connections to his philosophy courses. And you'll understand why in just a second. Tanner was the 2019-2020 Philosophy Student of the Year and the Summer 2021 UK SURF Fellowship recipient. He graduated summa cum laude in fall 21 with degrees in both philosophy and English, and plans to start earning his master's in English at the University of Virginia this upcoming fall. Congratulations. Congratulations, Tanner. It's good to meet you. Okay. The Michael Adelstein Award for Prospective High School Teachers of English goes to Sam Johnson. I'm smiling at Sam because I met Sam his first semester freshman year. One of his nominators describes him as one of the best students he's ever had, and another describes him as stellar and as an extremely intelligent, lucid writer. Sam has a double major in English and secondary English education. He was awarded the Kentucky Governor's Scholars Presidential Scholarship upon acceptance to UK and has maintained the requirements necessary to renew his scholarship each semester. After graduation, Sam intends to complete his master's with initial certification in secondary English ed here at UK before continuing his career as a local high school English teacher. Congratulations, Sam. Thank you. Okay, and now for the Distinguished Writing Awards. The William Hugh Jansen Undergraduate Award for Distinguished Writing is selected for writing based on oral traditions, the art of storytelling, or folklore elements. The first co-winner of this year's William Hugh Jansen Undergraduate Award for Distinguished Writing creative category goes to Deidre White for her short story. For her short story, Woodstock, in Professor Hannah Petard's English 507. Professor Petard says this: Deidre is an excellent storyteller. She's also a diverse and prolific reader. The way she talks about her story ideas, how they come to her almost as if they're out there in the world looking for her, strikes me as very instinctive, very traditionally folkloric. Deidre is a member of the Kentucky Black Writers Association and a proud member of the BIPOC Women's Poetry Group, which has featured guest speakers such as Crystal Wilkinson, who needs no introduction at this institution, Iris Law, and Nikita Stewart, among others. We're thrilled to have Deidre join us in the MFA program in the fall. Congratulations. I'm missing a certificate.
Oh, no.
I'll get that to you right after this. No, it's okay. The second co-winner of this year's William Hugh Jansen Award for Distinguished Writing Creative category goes to Claire McKinney for her short story, The Sea Close, The Sky Closer. And this is from her creative writing portfolio advised by Professor Andrew Millward. Professor Millward characterizes Claire as a strong and mature writer, and the same for the story, with an amazing title he wishes he'd thought up. Claire is a university scholar who will be completing her bachelor's and master's degrees in under 5 years. So just to be clear, she's earning a master's now, but this is only her 4th year of school. She was runner-up for the William Hugh Jansen Award last year and received the Robert Hemingway Writing Center Excellence in Consulting Award for this academic year. Congratulations, Claire. All right. A few more. All right. For the best undergraduate essay in a 200-level course, this goes to Ian Harrison for Ethnic Zombification, Get Out, and Night of the Living Dead in Dasha Goncharova's English 280 Introduction to Film course. So let me just say that we heard him deliver a beautiful academic essay last night at the showcase on monomania as the death drive in Moby Dick. So he's a very beautiful, very talented writer. Ian is majoring in English, minoring in philosophy, and a student of the International Film Studies certificate. He will be studying abroad in Galway, Ireland next semester and plans to get his master's in film after graduation. Oh, you a certificate. Congratulations. So the best undergraduate essay in a 200-level course, honorable mention, goes to Megan Brockman for Rom-Coms in Regency and Jillian Winter's English 230. Intro to Literature. Megan, I don't believe, was able to join us today. The distinction for the best digital project in a 200-level literature and film course individual project winner goes to Haley Patterson for Isolation Beyond the Yellow Wallpaper in Shannon Branfield's English 290, Introduction to Women's Literature. And Haley was not able to join us today. The distinction for the best digital project in a 200-level literature and film course individual project honorable mention goes to Clayton Dalton for Murder, She Wrote. We don't have there's no certificate, but yeah. It's Clayton, everyone. In Shannon Branfield's English 290, once again. All right. And the distinction for the best digital project in a 200-level literature and film course group project winners, Jordan Beleza, Michelle Jelenchik, Alexis Feltner, Shayla Anoskovich, and Emma Plaxico. Jordan, right, will be accepting, you're not Jordan, Michelle will be accepting for the group, and Michelle is a secondary English ed major with an emphasis in fine arts and literature, right? Congratulations, thank you. And now, Professor Hannah Bichard will be presenting the graduate awards.
I'm Dr. Trask. I'm incredibly accomplished. Dr. Trask is under the weather today, and as 1/3 of the graduate committee, I've been asked to step in. Apologies to the student winners who would have had a much more personalized day today. I was tapped about an hour ago. But I'm also thrilled and honored to be here, so let's get to the students. The very first winner is for the Provost Outstanding Teaching Assistant Award, and this award goes to Emily Nacer Hall, who is not here today. So we'll just move down the list. The Ellershaw Award. The Ellershaw Award this year goes to Jessica Van Gilder, who I believe is here. Jessica. I do have a little bit to say about Jess. Jess's dissertation focuses on how different fictional genres in 19th century America established themselves as trustworthy systems of knowing through the use of self-reflective fictionality, while also functioning socially and culturally to undercut and reaffirm trust in systems beyond the texts themselves. I'm going to forgo handshaking, if that's okay. I'm still in my germophobia mode. But for you, congrats. The next up, we have a split award. It is the William J. Souder Award, and our first co-recipient is Alex Gergley, who is here. Alex is not listed in the program, but I promise he is a winner. I know because I helped judge. Alex's current projects experiment with affect theory, post-critique, and interrogate the looming question of why literature matters. It does. Congratulations. Our second co-recipient of the same award is Hannah Schultz. Hannah is not here today, but I will tell you a bit about her. She is a second-year English PhD candidate studying 19th century British literature and eco-criticism. Congratulations, Hannah. You are missed. Next up is the Ben Wathen Black Memorial Graduate Scholarship in British Literature, and this goes this year to Katie Coles. Katie's dissertation looks at modern American remediations in 19th century British literature in film and social media to explore modern conceptions of white womanhood and white supremacy. Congratulations, Katie. Next up is the Patricia and William Stacy Endowed Fellowship, which this year goes to Shannon Brandfield, who I thought was here. Perhaps not. Okay. Shannon's out of town, but I can still tell you a bit about. Shannon's research interests include transatlantic 19th century sensation fiction, detective fiction, and adaptation. Congratulations, Shannon. And finally, for our last award, this is also a split award. Our first co-recipient is B. Bailey, and hi. This is for the Robert L. Doty English Graduate Support Fund Award. B is currently working on their dissertation, which focuses on speculative locations associated with terror and the potential pathways to futurity within. Congratulations. And finally, the other co-winner for the Robert L. Doty English Graduate Support Fund Award is Caitlin Coulter. Caitlin has been asked to contribute to an upcoming book project and will also be presenting at the International Crime Fiction Studies Conference being held in Bamberg, Germany this summer. Congratulations. And next up is Dr. Frank X. Walker for creative writing. Here we are, Frank Walker.
Thank you, thank you. And I see you all sneaking peeks at your watches. So out of respect for that, I'm gonna truncate my comments. But these awardees are no less honorable and deserving. Some of them are not here today. The first person who's not here is Savannah Bowen. Not here today, but Savannah is one of our incoming MFA students, and she won the Betty Combs Owen Recruitment Scholarship. Small hand for her, please. The Dantzler Award for Creative Nonfiction recipient is here. The nominee, when she was just a nominee, Eric Reese emailed me the story, the essay, and said, "You gotta read this." And I understood. Dorothy Mae Barmore was a sharecropper granddaughter in Warrenton, North Carolina. I'll fast forward to the most important part. Next week, she graduates with a BA at the tender age of 71. It was amazing. The Dantzler Award for Fiction, nominated by Professor Andrew Millward for a story called Seasick, was written by Blake Gidley. Is Blake here? Great job, Blake. Appreciate you. If you had to guess who the Farquhar Award for Poetry would be, I'll just say she's won 3 other awards today for a beautiful poem called Mehiwa, nominated by Professor Shauna Morgan. I actually heard this poem read out loud at a downtown festival to the support of Asian American students and families. So, Deidre White, again. Can't wait to get her in the MFA program. Now, the MFA in Creative Writing Creative Nonfiction Award goes to a poet and essayist who was brave enough as a creative nonfiction writer to show up in poetry this semester, and she held her on. Lucy Jays, come on down. Thank you for your beautiful, amazing poetry. The MFA in Creative Writing Fiction Award goes to a self-described black fiction writer from Columbus, Ohio, who's the editor of New Limestone Review, Allegra Solomon. Nice shoes. the other poet in the room, I have to say this young man, when he first showed up in the poetry workshop, with a poem that recreated a song I'm very fond of by an artist called D'Angelo. And I kept doing double takes at, he couldn't have written this, he couldn't have written this. And then he read it and blew us all away. Alfonso Zapata. We have this year's recipient of the Nikki Finney Graduate Fellowship and next year's recipient, back to back. This young woman arrived, and then 2 months later, her first collection of short stories came out. And in less than 6 months, I think she's been published in over 20 places. But more importantly, she's an amazing TA. So, Kasima. And is Jasmine here? Yes, so last week we had a visitor show up for class a semester early with her mother. And this is a student from next semester who's already here to receive her first award. So get used to seeing Jasmine Witherspoon. Thank you. The outstanding MFA teaching assistant goes to 2 individuals. One has 4 legs. The other has a brand new knee. Are you bringing Corey with you? Betsy Packard and Corey. Sure. If there was a special award for courage, this woman had a knee replacement and didn't miss a class. She also is the 2-time winner of the broadside contest. There's your other certificate. On the way out the door, there's a table that has a printing of, I'm not sure who it belongs to, but somebody will surely sneak out with it if we don't say something. That's for display. Robin says, she says, don't take it, but if you want one, talk to her. It's just for display. Both Betsy's and the other award winner for undergraduate broadside contest goes to Atticus Combs, who is not here with us today as well. But thank you. I hope you don't feel cheated because that was a short version, but I respect your time, and we're only halfway through. Who's next, Jonathan?
Thanks, Frank. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank, and the creative writers. And thank you to Hannah, and thank you to Michelle. The Arts and Sciences Faculty and Staff Awards will be presented at a separate ceremony next week, and the Provost Outstanding Teaching Awards were presented by the Provost at a ceremony last week. And so, except for one faculty award, we are not presenting those awards today, but we want to recognize the awards that our faculty and staff have won this year. So please stand when your name is called so we can congratulate you. First, however, congratulations to Crystal Wilkinson, who is recipient of the 2022 Arts and Sciences Award for the Promotion of Diversity and Inclusion. Thank you. Crystal will receive a certificate at another ceremony for this award, As you know, she is Poet Laureate of Kentucky. She has also been promoted to the rank of full professor in the department this semester. She has had a huge impact on the promotion of diversity and inclusivity in the Department of English and in the College of Arts and Sciences, especially with her support of underrepresented minorities and her shaping of a diverse visiting writers series. And as Poet Laureate, Crystal works to promote diversity and inclusivity across the Commonwealth of Kentucky and beyond. So thank you, Crystal, for all your work. Congratulations to Marianne Rust, who's recipient of the 2022 Arts and Sciences Undergraduate Research Mentoring Award. Yay. Marianne was recognized for her outstanding mentoring and advising of undergraduate students working with her on the journal that she edits, housed in our department, titled Early American Literature. Her students have been very fortunate to work with Marianne on the editing of this important journal, and her mentorship has meant so much to so many students who appreciate the guidance and the independence that she's given them. As one student wrote, "I have no doubt that I am a better writer, thinker, and person for the time I spent working with Professor Rust." Congratulations, Marianne. Congratulations also to Regina Hamilton, who is recipient of the 2022 Arts and Sciences Outstanding Teaching Award, and also recipient of the 2022 Provost Outstanding Teaching Award. One of the most innovative and exciting teachers in our department, she has made a huge impact on her students and on everyone in the department during her 3 years here. She believes in diversity in every sense of the word and runs a classroom in which all students' voices matter. She's been very innovative in teaching formats, including on Zoom, podcast, and Twitter, and her teaching evaluations are just amazing. As she wrote, describing her teaching philosophy, she says, "I want my classes to be loud and open and free-flowing," and they are, and we congratulate Regina on her achievements. Thank you. I now like to congratulate Kristen Pickett, who is recipient of the Arts and Sciences Staff Award for Diversity and Inclusion. Kristen is an outstanding manager in every respect of our department, working tirelessly. She worked hard to promote a culture of diversity and inclusion in this department, showing respect to all she meets. She has a series of posters on her door which offer greetings and a safe space to all who enter. One poster states, "I am always a safe person and I will hold space for you." She means it. She treats everyone with respect. She has a long history of service on committees and bodies which address issues of justice, democracy, fairness, and equity. She was elected to the University of Kentucky Women's Forum Board in 2015. She's participated in the campaign Showing Up for Racial Justice. She's staff member of the English Department DEI Committee. She's also a member of the Staff Issues Human Resources Concerns Committee and is on the Staff Senate DEI Committee. She's also the only staff member on the Arts and Sciences Dean Search Committee, where she brings her perspective as a staff member to questions of fairness and equity to the search process. Thank you so much, Kristen, and congratulations. The Ellen Rosenman Distinguished Faculty Annual Award is an award for best comprehensive performance by a faculty member across research, teaching, and service. The winner is selected by a committee of 3 endowed professors in the department who review nominations from the Faculty Merit Evaluation Review Committee. The award is named for a former colleague and department chair. The winner of the Ellen Rosenman Distinguished Faculty Award is Crystal Wilkinson. Crystal is one of the busiest people in our department. She's won many fellowships and national awards, including the Rockefeller Foundation United States Artists Award in 2020 and the 2022 NAACP Image Award. She's an outstanding teacher in the creative writing program. She has an amazing record of service in the department and on many committees. It is a great pleasure to present her with this award. Now we are offering a Julep Cup to Michael Carter for 25 years of service in the department. Michael is an extraordinary teacher of literature, film, and creative writing. He recently won the College of Arts and Sciences Outstanding Teaching Award for lecturers. He teaches a wide range of courses, including his popular large lecture creative writing courses and literature courses on Native American literature, banned books, monsters in literature, and Moby Dick. So Michael, here's to the next 25 years. So now I want to turn to some of the wiser, the more senior members of the department. I'd like to say goodbye and thank you to three dear colleagues who are retiring. Walt Foreman and Armando Prats are retiring on June 30th. You knew that, right? And Gurney Norman will be retiring in December. I'll begin with Walt. Walt has been teaching at the University of Kentucky for 50 years. He was a graduate of... Wow. He was a graduate of Harvard. Yeah, come on up. Yeah. So, he was a graduate of Harvard and the University of Washington, where he completed his PhD in 1974. He specialized in film studies and Shakespeare studies during his career. He served in every committee multiple times. He previously won the Ward Prize for faculty service and the Provost Outstanding Teaching Award. He was our Director of Undergraduate Studies, our Director of Advising, and was actually Associate Chair for 3 terms for a total of 17 years. His publications include The Music of the Close, the final scenes of Shakespeare's tragedies. We wish you well in your retirement, Walt. Armando Prats has been teaching at the University of Kentucky for 47 years. He was a graduate of University of Miami and University of Florida, where he completed his PhD in 1975. He specialized in film, particularly the Western. His publications include The Autonomous Image, Cinematic Narration and Humanism, and Invisible Natives, Myth and Identity in the American Western. He served the English department as Director of Graduate Studies, as Director of Undergraduate Studies, as Associate Chair. He also served in every committee there is in the university. He won the department's William Ward Prize for department service. He was winner of the UK Alumni Association Great Teacher Award. We thank him for his many years of service. Do you want to speak? Come on.
Thank you.
Give you the right one.
Oh.
No, that's the right one. It's the right one. Yeah. Well, we'll find out when he opens it. But this is the one with the labels. It says Armando J. Prats. So I think we're good. Yeah. We'll hear about it if it's the wrong one, I'm telling you. Okay. Thank you, Armando. And now we turn to Gurney Norman, who needs no introduction. Gurney has taught at the university for 43 years. He will retire in December. He's a graduate of UK and at Stanford University, where he was Stegner Fellow. He was formerly the Poet Laureate of Kentucky. He was inducted 2 years ago into the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame. He was inducted last year into the College of Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame. His many publications include Divine Rights Trip, Kinfolks, Allegiance, and he's currently completing another book, The Findlay County Record. Since we're going to see him again this fall, one more time, we're holding off saying goodbye, but this will be his last awards day. He gets a Julep Cup for 43 years of service. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You want to say a few words? Thank you. Great job. Thank you. So thanks again to everybody. Thanks again to Damaris Hill, our guest speaker, and to our alumna of the year, Salome Noromelli, and thank you to all the prize winners, and congratulations on your achievement. Thank you to all the faculty. We'll see you again next year. Thank you.